Proactive measures must be taken to overcome floods in Dudong. Strong wind blew off 6 roofs in Opah, and Tonga volcano erupts, causing tsunami warnings. Those are the headlines for tonight. I'm Hari Zainuddin, and this is TVS Nightline. The floods in Cebu due to continuous heavy rain are still at the alert level. For areas surrounding Stabao in Cebu, water levels are now knee-high, causing difficulties to locals in their daily activities. Dudong Assemblyman Dato Sri Tiong King Sing, who visited flood-affected areas today, said proactive measures must be taken immediately to overcome the flood situations.
Ini kawasan kita tudung memang banyak tempat banjir, termasuk Sentosa, Bukit Lima, ini Stabao, semua kena banjir. Tadi saya nampak ini masalah, mungkin Rajang River pun satu masalah, tapi masalah paling teruk ini kita tidak ada proper drainage irrigation system. Tapi saya tadi tanya penduduk sana, dia kata selalu kalau hujan rapat tidak payah sampai setengah hari memang banjir. Problem memang datang. Itulah kita sekarang mesti mau cari jalan. Saya sudah minta dia datang, sama minta dia tengok sekarang macam mana nak uruskan ini masalah menghadapi rakyat di kawasan Dudong ini. Ini pasal kita bukan sekarang masa banjir datang, kita lihat nanti banjir sudah habis, flood sudah habis, mana dia orang boleh nampak mana kena banjir, mana tidak kena banjir, apa masalah, kenapa air tidak boleh keluar semua. Kita inilah pegawai kerjaan mestilah mau ambil proaktif.
According to Leonardo Birai, a resident of Rumah Panjang Tuai Rumah Birai, Empanding, continuous heavy rain over the week has caused water level to rise up to the knee level. He added that residents in the area are expecting to continue experiencing difficulties if heavy rain continues to pour in the area. So far, he said only 4-wheel drive vehicles such as a Hilux can pass through the area.
Okey, yang terdedah situ kita kalau nak keluar kerja memang sukarlah. Hantar budak sekolah pun susah kalau pakai kereta yang rendah lah. Dan kalau kalau hantar orang sakit pun susah juga. Sebab mereka kebanyakan rumah panjang dia tidak ada motor tinggi.
Now still on some flood updates. Dewan Kampung JERIAH Temporary Evacuation Center (PPS) in Cebu was closed on Saturday afternoon after the flood that affected 5 houses in the village had receded. The flood victims were grateful to be able to return home after 4 days of having to stay in the PPS.
Rita Saadah expressed her appreciation for the help that was extended to her family and was relieved to be able to return home. She hopes that the drainage issue, which was one of the main causes of the flood, can be dealt with immediately so as to avoid the flood from recurring.
Patut semalam memang tengok dengan keadaan cuaca memang rasa mau balik semalam lah, tapi tunggu inform daripada YB, jadi hari itu syukurlah dapat balik. Terima kasih pada yang membantu daripada JEPAM, Bomba, Polis, semua yang terlibat, askar termasuk YB yang dah membantu kami orang. Terima kasih banyak. Daripada hari pertama banjir dah datang apa semualah. Harapan untuk kedepannya peparitan jalannya akan dibaik pulih secepatnya, and then bagi yang kami orang rumah yang kawasan rendah ya ada perkembangan terbarulah untuk bantuan ke apa-apa lah. Sebab itu pun yang banjir tahun tu yang pertama teruk lah.
Meanwhile, Mastura Jahan was relieved because she was able to return to the house she shares with her children and grandchildren despite having to clean the house which was dirty due to the flood.
Asa lega lah, tapi terpaksa lah cuci rumah dulu. Anak kami dah banyak lumpur dalam ya, terpaksa lah cuci dulu. Masalah banjir siang paritnya. Yalah. Semoga tidak maulah parit yang bagus sikitlah supaya kami si banjir.
The temporary evacuation center PPS at Kampong JERIAH Community Hall was opened on January 12 following heavy rain that caused flood at Jalan Seduan.
A sudden strong wind that occurred in Kampong Opa in early January had blown off the roofs of 6 houses and damaged 11 others. According to the villagers, the tornado-like wind happened suddenly and displaced 6 families who had to be placed at a temporary relief shelter.
The freak weather incident took place around 6 p.m. on Tuesday, January 4th.
Sembang, terus tiba-tiba datang. Berbunyi macam bom, kuat bunyi dah. Pada tu bunyi tidak tahu macam mana. Antara 95%. Memang habis, dalam itu habis. Kerugian mungkin 50 ke 80 ribu lah.
One of the affected villagers, Yana Ziha, said she was doing housework when a sudden gust of wind damaged part of her kitchen and living room area.
Okay. Masa hari kejadian tu hujan lah, gerimis, hujan, tapi masa tu angin memang ada angin, tapi tidak saya ingat angin biasa je. Sekali saya tengok daripada arah barat sana, angin terlalu kuat tau, memang terlalu kuat. Saya tengok dekat sana habis bumbung orang, bumbung saya pun sama juga. Bahagian saya depan dapur dia terangkat kan angin.
On Wednesday, January 5th, Opar Assemblyman Billy Sujang paid a visit to the damaged homes and presented an early contribution of 1,000 ringgit each to help the victims. Repair works has also commenced with the cost of the damages estimated at around 500,000 ringgit.
Bersyukur juga kepada YB yang memberi sumbangan bantuan sedikit sebanyak untuk membantu kami yang keadaan cuaca sekarang ini memang kita sudah maklum memang musim sekarang ini memang musim hujan lah. Memang adalah mengganggu sedikit. Tapi masih juga dia orang teruskan kerja-kerja pembaik pulih lah.
On Saturday, Billy again spent some time to check on the homes and monitor the progress of the repair works.
Berpuas hati dengan perkembangan yang ada pada hari ini, di mana sebagian besar 6 yang terjejah itu 4 telah pun dipasang atap, cuma 2 lagi dalam proses pada hari ini dan dijangka akan dipasang atap pada hari ini juga. Sebab 6 di bawah di bawah pusat khidmat N1 Opar, kita telah menyalurkan dana pembaikan di bawah PPMRS sebanyak 15.000 maksimum untuk mereka atau rumah-rumah yang terjejak.
Billy added the repair and construction works are expected to be completed in 2 to 3 days' time.
Sarawakians are urged to be extremely cautious, particularly during the upcoming Chinese New Year celebration, following the detection of 36 COVID-19 cases of the Omicron variant in Sarawak so far this month. University Malaysia Sarawak or UNIMAS Institute of Health and Community Medicine IHCM Director Professor Dr. David Pereira said the cases involving the highly transmissible variant were detected in Kuching, Semarahan, Sibu and Kapit Division, with the majority being community transmissions. In his report to the Sarawak Disaster Management Committee SDMC, Dr. Pereira advised the public to avoid community gatherings during the festive season to avoid the spread of the highly infectious Omicron variant. Dr. Pereira, who is also a member of the Sarawak COVID-19 Vaccine Advisory Group, said that those who had yet to get their booster shot should get them immediately, as studies had shown it was necessary to boost waning neutralizing antibody levels to protect from Omicron infection. He said that the IHCM, which tracks SARS-CoV-2 variants in the state, had successfully sequenced 262 samples between December 2021 and January 11th this year. Dr. Pereira added the Delta variant remained the dominant circulating variant, with 212 cases reported in December and 6 cases detected in January. In late December, the IHCM detected 8 cases of Omicron variant, with 7 being import cases, whereas 1 case had no recent traveling history. Now, Chinese New Year is right around the corner, And the celebration for the festive season this year will be more meaningful with the recent relaxation of standard operating procedures (SOPs) as the state transition into the phase 4 of the National Recovery Plan. Although those celebrating the holidays are still not allowed to have open houses and lion dance performances, the relaxation, however, allows families to hold reunion dinners and gatherings with their loved ones. That alone would make this year's Chinese New Year celebration meaningful for the Chinese community, although it is celebrated in the new norms.
When met by TVS reporter, those who are celebrating the festive celebration are excited but remain cautious of the possible spread of the COVID-19 virus.
我会选择在家里，因为觉得家里比较安全，毕竟有老人家不方便在外面庆祝新年，而且在家里新年气氛会比较好。
So for this year's Chinese New Year, cause my family is just a bit larger than 10 people, so there's not much choice. So if we want to all celebrate on one big table like every year, like usual, we have no choice but to compromise and to just take away from restaurants and just bring it back home to eat.
我是个人觉得我会 prefer 在外面吃啦，因为毕竟现在 SOP 已经是放宽一点，然后疫情也是蛮好一点了啦，然后很多人也是有打了那个 booster 针的，然后一方面我们也是为了要支持这些外面的那些就是餐馆了。
Last Thursday, Sarawak Disaster Management Committee (SDMC) gave the green light for family gatherings on the first day of Chinese New Year throughout Sarawak. Among the Chinese New Year SOPs announced by SDMC are the number of family members at gatherings must only be at 50% of the residential capacity and physical distancing of 1 meter must be followed at all times. SDMC also announced that open houses and visits are not permitted during this year's Chinese New Year.
A temporary transit center (TTG) for the homeless is one of the government's initiatives to reduce the number of homeless people in the state. Women, Childhood and Community Wellbeing Development Minister Dato Sri Fatimah Abdullah said further discussions will be held on January 19.
She added that the center should be located in a strategic area to facilitate the initiative.
Jadi ada dua perkara yang kita hendak wujudkan di Miri ni ya. Satu ialah TTG. Pada 19 hari bulan kita akan berbuat perbincangan. Kita akan membuat perbincangan tentang lokasi yang telah kita kenal pasti sebagai tempat sementara untuk TTG. TTG ini mestilah strategik lokasinya ya. Ianya tak boleh jauh daripada bandar sebab the idea is it is a transit center, tempat transit di mana gelandangan itu boleh bermalam ya, bermalam. Jadi kita tidak mahu lagi gelandangan kita ini tidur di kaki lima.
She added the TTG also aims to assist the people in securing jobs as well as providing training skills so they would be ready for any employment opportunity.
Sebahagian daripada tugas dan tanggungjawab ya operator penyelaras TTG itu adalah untuk membantu mereka berdikari. Jadi yang di Sibu, saya dimaklumkan kemarin ada di antara mereka telah berjaya mendapat pekerjaan. Bila misalnya kawan-kawan yang memberitahu, oh kami memerlukan orang bekerja di kedai kopi ini misalnya. So maka there's a match being done and then mereka dapat.
As of now, a total of 24 homeless people have been identified in Miri.
A total of 5.7 million citizens aged 18 and above as at December 31st, 2021 has been registered as new voters. This comes after the name list of new registered voters under the Supplementary Electoral Rolls (DPT) was certified and gazetted on January 14th.
According to the Election Commission EC Secretary, Dato' Ikmalruddin Ishak, the number of registered voters has also increased by around 40% from 15.8 million previously to a total of 21.5 million voters. The rolls also contain 25,220 registered voters who changed their constituencies, as well as 9,293 individuals who changed their voter status or categories. Additionally, the supplementary electoral rolls for December 2021 are open for review for 6 months from January 14 to July 13th. Iqmal Rudin said the EC had prepared 4 methods of review for the electoral rolls, namely via the EC portal, My SPR Semak mobile application, the official portal of the state election offices, and the EC hotline. He said if their names are not listed in the rolls, they can fill out Form C online at the link myspr.spr.gov.my or come personally to the nearest state election office. He also said that any registered voter in a constituency who makes a review and wishes to object to the entry of the name of a voter who made a change to his constituency can do so by filing in Form D and presenting it at the relevant state election office. Iqmal Rudin said Form C and Form D can also be downloaded from the state election office portal and must be submitted to the relevant state election director during office hours or any working day during the review period.
Yang kami faham pakai mask.
Jarak mesti at least 1 meter.
Wash hand frequently. Tak mestilah pakai facial mask.
Penjarakan sosial. First of all, macam kita masuk mall kan, sini-sini kedai mesti scan.
Sentiasalah jaga doktor.
Kita jaga kita.
Kita jaga kita.
Kita jaga kita.
Kita jaga kita.
Dalam episod seterusnya, My Husband-in-Law.
คุณยาดาแล้วเนี่ยผมเต็มที่เสมอครับนี่ครับวิธีที่ผมแนะนำในการฟ้องหย่ากับสามีของคุณเฮ้ย
เมย์จะทำถึงดึกก็ได้เลยนะคะ
ฉันก็ทำดึกเหมือนกันนะ Jangan lupa untuk menyaksikan My Husband-in-Law setiap Isnin hingga Khamis 8.45 malam di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan My TV
พี่เทนเป็นบ้าอะไรเนี่ยหรือว่าจะมาพิศวาสอะไรเราตอนนี้เนี่ยฮะ
Saya Sika Dijahalin. Jangan lupa untuk saksikan saya dalam rancangan Tony Lapar, eksklusif di TVS, saluran 122, Astro dan My TV.
Welcome back. Now on to the next development. More Employees Provident Fund EPF members will retire below the income poverty line PGK level if the government allows additional withdrawals of their savings. Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Sri Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz said this was due to the continuous decline in EPF members' retirement savings, and currently almost half of the members had less than 10,000 ringgits in their accounts. And of the total, 55% are Bumiputra.
Jadi kalau kita membenarkan pengeluaran tambahan ni yang diminta ni oleh konon-kononnya lah ya, oleh kajian ini menyebabkan lebih ramai ahli yang perlu bersara lah di bawah PGK, paras garis kemiskinan, dan juga menyebabkan beban yang besar lah kepada seluruh keluarga Malaysia di masa depan, terutamanya jika kegawatan ekonomi ini berlaku. Jadi saya juga ingin jamin bahawa kerajaan peka tentang masalah rakyat, ya, dan pelbagai pendekatan diusahakan, ya, memelihara kebajikan terutamanya golongan B40 dan juga golongan M40.
He said this when asked to comment on a study by UMNO Youth, which found that more than 97% of members want the government to approve the one-off withdrawal of EPFI Citra savings of 10,000 ringgit. Commenting further, Tengku Zafrul said every decision made by the government must take into account the interests of the people in the short and long-term periods.
Now, Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin has proposed a white paper for the reformation of the country's health system, especially in ensuring that it is future-proof. The matter has been raised to the ministry's planning division for it to be tabled in the parliament.
Adding further, Khairi said the country's health system must be future-proof by ensuring that all public health needs were met through appropriate and adequate allocation to the Health Ministry MOH. He added that adequate allocation for MOH through the national budget is crucial in ensuring the country is prepared to face any unforeseen situations, and reforms in the country's health system should not only focus on the aspect of adequate allocation, but it should also involve healthcare financing on how the health burden could be shared with the people.
The Health Ministry is reviewing and setting a new period for the isolation of COVID-19 positive cases and close contacts. Its Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said fully vaccinated individuals who test positive for all variants of COVID-19 and are asymptomatic must undergo isolation for 7 days.
He said individuals positive for COVID-19 who are not fully vaccinated or unvaccinated or symptomatic must undergo the mandatory 10-day isolation. Meanwhile, close contacts of COVID-19 positive cases who are fully vaccinated and have received their booster shot will be required to undergo a 5-day quarantine. The new isolation and quarantine procedures will be effective on Sunday, January 16, and will also be applicable to those who are already undergoing isolation and quarantine. He explained that the new ruling was made after the Ministry of Health MOH re-evaluated the surveillance and observation period based on data, science, and experiences from other countries relating to the management of positive COVID-19 cases and close contacts of confirmed cases. He said existing procedures for the management of travelers to Malaysia are still applicable. He added that the MOH had also stepped up the preparedness of the health service system to face the possibility of a rise in cases caused by the Omicron variant in the country.
Pinjam nafas, Cik! Aku! Si tahu! Bodoh nak orang doi udah ni bang, kering.
Iyalah fikir aku teh ada benda si mengena
Apa yang si mengenaknya?
Confession perlukan dua pihak. First, sikit pakai pengaku. Second, sikit pakai mendengar. Masuk akal? Jadi, kita perlu confess. Betul? Betul. Siapa mau dengar?
Maksud kau, orangnya salah seorang kita.
Dalam episod akan datang, Empresses in the Palace.
手工来作践本宫。额娘抱你去玩好不好？
我不要，我不要。
啊，镯子丢了，情丢不得。碎轩里晾好了皇上爱喝的茶，皇上去喝吗？
你都这么说了，朕能不去吗？
Jangan lupa Empresses in the Palace. Isnin hingga Kamis, 9.30 malam. Di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan My TV.
熹妃，你还是好好的安胎吧。
臣妾恭送皇后娘娘。
Thank you for staying with me. Now on to some global updates. The Pacific nation of Tonga issued a tsunami warning after an undersea volcano erupted on Saturday, sending large waves crashing across the shore and people rushing to higher ground.
There were no immediate reports of injuries or the extent of the damage as communications in the island nation, home to about 100,000 people, remain down. Tonga Meteorological Services said the tsunami warning was in effect for all of Tonga. New Zealand's military said it was monitoring the situation and remained on standby, ready to assist if asked. New Zealand's Emergency Management Agency issued an advisory on tsunami activity for its north and east coast, with the area expected to experience strong and unusual currents and unpredictable surges at the shore. Meanwhile, Fiji issued a tsunami warning, urging residents to avoid the shorelines due to strong currents and dangerous waves.
Wrapping up the Nightline, at least 13 farmers were killed by armed attackers who struck 2 villages in central Nigeria. The villages were harvesting crops at their farms located in the Shiroro local council area of the central state of Niger when the gunmen struck.
Police disclosed that the incident was not immediately reported due to the rough terrain and lack of communication network in the area. However, a tactical police team has been deployed to maintain law and order in affected communities. Abubakar Bello, the governor of Niger, said the killings of farmers in this latest security challenge could trigger a terrible food crisis, as most farmers might be unable to harvest their farm produce due to fear of attacks. He added that the state government would work to ensure that security agencies go a long way to curtail the attacks.
And that's all the time that we have for TVS Nightline. Once again, I'm Hari Zainuddin, and have a pleasant night.